So I haven't talked about this on camera, but for a long time, I've been hoping Brinkley would make this floor plan, and they have absolutely knocked it out of the park. This might be my new favorite couples camping fifth wheel out there. You are going to want to see this. Welcome everybody, Josh the RV Nerd here at Bish's RV, and I'm gonna try to keep myself contained because I'm kind of gushing over this one right here. It's almost exactly everything I would personally want in a fifth wheel, and then some where they took it over the top even further. So why am I so excited about this? Like, if you saw the other 30-foot Brinkley fifth wheel, the 2670, it's great. It has a lot of really good qualities, but there were some very fair critiques and criticisms that the viewers put out there. And this floor plan organically addresses almost every single one of those. There's very, very little here that I'm not like absolutely overjoyed with. We're going to be, like most fifth wheels, a pretty solid 3/4 ton tower, but it's 30-foot tip to tail with fantastic tires, excellent suspension. So if you really want to do a lot of, road travels and stuff, this is going to be a great fit. Not to mention, it's a 30-foot fifth wheel. A chunk of that's hanging over the bed of the truck. So if you're going to go through those tighter spaces like the state national parks, this may give you some fantastic maneuverability and parking capability that other big rigs just couldn't handle, while still providing you the big rig comforts and features. Because this isn't like a scaled down Z Air. This is a full blood Model Z. It just happens to only be 30 foot. So we have things like a hydraulic rack and pinion living room slide and 4-point hydraulic auto leveling. Essentially, I've not seen anybody else in this class do this. So it's just going to work faster, stronger, essentially, better stability, excellent hot cold weather package as you expect from a Brinkley. But this floor plan, I love it because when the slides close, you can access everything that is road critical. It has just about an acre of countertop space. It has tremendous storage, a really good cargo capacity, fantastic holding tank capacities, larger solar package than nearly anything in this class that is not very difficult to double, essentially. Upgraded suspension, upgraded new pin box so that the thing doesn't rattle trap itself apart going down the road, and a laundry list of other features I just love about this thing. This one gets my goat. And the other ones, maybe they tote them. Maybe they totes my goats. I don't know. That's a joke that you haven't heard a lot of anymore. Kind of like clown shoes. You haven't heard people call something clown shoes in a long time. But I'm here to bring it back, America, and the Canadians watching, and anybody else. And in the meantime, let me know what you like about this. Let me know what you would change given the opportunity. And buckle up, because we've got a fun ride ahead of us today. And like I said, this was the floor plan I was always hoping they would make. The day that I first saw the first Brinkley, I had the same question as a lot of people. Are they going to make one under 30 foot? And if so, please let it be this layout. And it finally has happened. This is a monster floor plan. Like a lot of brands, to be able to give you some campsite window coverage, they had to put the TV pretty pie in the sky, but I like how they really angled the TV down a lot better. You still are looking up toward it, but I don't feel like I have the massive neck wrecker application that a lot of other models have, The overall look of this, yeah, it's very neutral, but my wife is an amazing interior decorator. As far as I know, because I'm not any good at it, so I trust her judgment. And, what she tells me is, you get like a couple throw blankets or pillows, and you can bring some color into this thing very, very quickly. We're going to, kind of circle around this thing slowly. Apparently, we've got some kind of freight delivery coming in through the back window there. But I want to give you just like a slow overview of this, and then we're just going to start going layer by layer. One of the things that I really like about it, the total amount of storage in this layout is absolutely phenomenal. It gives you just an incredible amount of capacity here. And with this RV having, I think, like a little bit over or right around the neighborhood of a 3,000 pound cargo carry capacity, you can actually pack up, stack up, and use all the space in this RV without worrying about overloading it, which I think is pretty awesome, pretty cool. Now, straight across from the theater seat here, we do have our big smart TV. But the way that I'm standing, the camera is basically, if I'm standing up, that's what the TV looks like. If I slowly sit down and glide back here, when you're sitting at your theater seat, this is the view right here. You can see that it's above the door. which is about a 6.5 foot residential standard height entry door. But as a result, what it creates for us is the really solid, like eye level window coverage around this thing right here. And all these windows have those, day night integrated shades, and the night shade segment of any window actually has a radiant barrier, like sunshine heat blocker automatically integrated into it. So if you are camping in the crazy hot climate spaces, it helps tremendously to maximize the efficiency here. And again, nice little smart TV there, and you plug a USB stick in, apparently with the Brinkley logo, and it pops right up and looks awful nice on there. One of the other things that I really like is this floor plan creates a lot of countertop space. Now, if you notice, technically speaking, the countertop does shrink back a little bit straight across from the sofa, and then it grows greater in the kitchen proper. But I don't think that's going to be a problem, especially once we start looking at all the dining space. Now, while we're looking over here at the kitchen, I want to actually back up, because under the kitchen, a couple things. Under the sink, rather, you've got a indented toe kick, so you can actually belly right up to that sucker. That's also where one of your heat vents is located, because they don't put them in the floors. And I have something like that at my house. Like, I live a painfully sedentary lifestyle, and I'm tall, and I probably don't have very good circulation in my long limbs, and I get cold feet is basically what I'm getting here. And standing in front of the sink when I'm doing dishes and I got a heat vent blowing on my feet, it feels pretty good. My wife just thinks that I like helping out. Truth is, I just like having warm feet. They also are putting a bigger oven in here as compared to nearly anybody else. And I'm going to come back through and get all this opened up. But real quick, I am going to kind of kneel down slowly and give you a look at the household outlets. You've got one to the left of the microwave. And when I do this, you can see that the microwave also is a heat exhausting vent hood. Then you've got a pair of outlets over here. Now, I do prefer it when outlets are closer to the kitchen countertop. They're not able to do that with the wall system that they have here, and they did not opt to go for pop-up power towers, so you don't got to worry about spillages causing any sort of problems. But the fact that the overhead cabinets are so big eliminates a lot of that potential problematic area over here. And I know we're still staring at the back of the camper, and we're almost 5 minutes in. This thing has, despite the fact it's only 30 foot, has so much detail to cover here. The desk area, the fact that they actually included, I think, a very good, very functional desk area is pretty outstanding. And one of the first things I looked at is I said, okay, so you can't put power outlets in the walls. What are you going to do? Well, if I get the fake prop MacBook out of the way, you can see that they were intelligent enough to put power outlets, both household and USBs, wombo combo integrated into one object right there, including a Type A and a Type C plug. So considering no bigger than this space is, you basically have enough power something for whatever you might need right there. And this is also a 12-volt compressor fridge. This is about a 16 cubic foot 12-volt compressor fridge paired up with a 370-watt solar panel up on the roof. You could double that pretty much if you are so inclined. And the RV actually has an additional 12-volt fridge when we get outside. We have so much to cover on this. Now, both here in the kitchen and in the bathroom, you get the XL rain sensing vent fans. You get none of the dollar store 4-inch fart fans anywhere in your Brinkley RVs. You also, it's interesting, they do not have centralized air here in the living room, which still is something that kind of twists some people up and twists up their brain. So what you were looking at right there is the 18,000 BTU Furrion Chill Cube. It is a variable output compressor system that is surprisingly quiet, actually. If you actually get on the on Furrion's website, you'll see a sample of me in the Brinkley 3610 cranking that air conditioner, standing right under it with zero noise canceling microphone action, and you can hear me talking just as you can hear me talking now. It's excellent. But what about the bedroom and bathroom? You have a standard second air conditioner up front that is centralized exclusively to the bedroom and bathroom. So you have zone effective direct action cooling that is one of the best, most effective ways to actually cool an RV out there. It is a monster system, and you are seeing so many other builders adopt what Brinkley has been doing here. It's becoming very, very popular. Now, just to how do I want to do this? Okay, just to teach you how to fish. When we walk, or when we start twisting around this thing, take a look at the windows over the sofa real quick. To help you interpret what you're seeing, any window that opens for airflow has both day and night shades. But to help you identify them, I've pulled the day shade up from the bottom. Any window that does not open for airflow, I've pulled the night shade down from the top. So the windows that open get both. The windows that don't only get the blackout nightshade, but all the windows with the blackout nightshades have the radiant barrier like heat sun blocker on the back. So as we go through this, you'll be able to tell visually which windows do what in this video right here. Now, your theater seat by default doesn't have cup holders. However, where you have this wireless charge pad in the middle, Brinkley offers through their little parts store, essentially, I think we can get it for you as any dealership, a little insert that'll convert that over into a two-piece and a biscuit cup holder kind of system. And you've always got the center console armrest right here with the USB plugs built in. And I like how they put the USB plugs there, because you have what I call thigh buster USB plugs over here, where you have your like heat massage functions, or maybe it's just heat. I can't remember offhand. Sometimes those things visually kind of trip me up a little bit. But if you're looking for cup holders, it's available. It's just not the standard format that they offer here. Their hide-a-bed is positioned in a more north-south arrangement, and that's the thing. Some builders with some similar floor plans don't always give you a guest sleeping space like this. So that's an extra nice little thing that they've done here. As we slide our way up, a couple little things, because again, we are in the in an earlier prototype. This is very close to the factory production run, but a couple little details here. If you get over here, because you might notice how they're very good about putting a lot of their controls inside of cabinets where they're a little less visible. The critical fuse box on the bottom and the Rockford Fosgate control head unit are going to flip-flop places, so that this thing is not so darn high up that it's difficult to reach. And you know, I'm a little over 6 foot. It's just above my head level. I could reach it easily, but my wife's a little smaller than me. That could be a problem. So they're going to flip-flop that around. Also, inside this cavity right here, it's easy to miss, but there is a set of power outlet or USB plugs back there. Not, I guess, not technically power outlets. And I don't know that you're going to need to do it a lot. But if you want to, or if you want to get to the back of the TV where the little extra plugins are located, that TV can pivot both directions. So if you do have guests sitting or sleeping on that hide-a-bed, you can kind of angle the TV a little bit so it's sort of split between the two sofas and go that way with it. On the way back down here, though, we've got dual sofas, but you might go, yeah, but where do we eat? Well, that's where this comes in right here. Now, when I first saw this, when I saw the darker brown tabletop sticking out of the countertop, I thought it was already extended. What I didn't realize is that it was actually about twice as deep as I genuinely realized. And it creates a very respectable couples dining arrangement. Now, the ottoman footstool that you saw for the sofa and for the desk area, those are what you would kind of slide over here to use. So there's not a bunch of extra bulky chairs you got to move around and sling around. But what's actually kind of cool about those things, they themselves are storage. So depending on what you put in them, they could be fairly heavy to move around, but they're you know, lightweight by default, pretty easy to move. And to give you a size reference, I actually took the entire package for the TPMS monitor and everything and put them down in there. And I wanted to move slowly so that I didn't end up getting anybody motion sick. But the extension tabletop actually has, just like the other Model Zs, your utensil drawer integrated right into it, the handy little playing card pocket in the back. And even this, all of your drawers, of course, I got to close it far enough. All of our drawers are soft close. Now, if I get you down here, you know, they didn't go with electric space heat and fireplace. Instead, what they did is just went with absolute max capacity storage. And to make it even easier, the bottom shelf where you're really crawling on your hands and knees to get back there, they made those drawers so the storage comes to you. It's just the thoughtful little details in here from someone who actually camps that designs this RV. And you may notice you can clutter up the floor space pretty quick depending on what you're doing, but you can also tuck it away very nicely. So it's not like you're tripping over stuff all the time here. Now, moving on to the rest of the kitchen storage. This door next to the oven opens this way, so I figured that's the easiest way to get you a nice little display of it. Also, notice how they're using the hidden hinges, the magnet holdbacks, and the little rubber bumpers anywhere that anything would connect with anything. Like as you walk through one of these, I don't even know how well they show up on camera. You will see multiple times, like even right here, that anytime something would bump into something else, they add those little rubber bumpers just to keep everything from getting banged up and gouged up long term, you know? The integrated slide open trash space, like if you watch my videos, people say, you know, you're always complaining and harping about how manufacturers need to give you a place for garbage can. Yeah, I am, because I know that when we camp every single day, we create garbage. And a lot of RVs don't give me a place to put any of that stuff. And it's really, really annoying. It's kind of nice to have a solution for that. Continuing onward here, I don't know that I gave you a good look at it before, but this is just a big, wide open stainless farm sink. With that, what I do like though is that they give you a full cover, like rollaway dish drying rack. A lot of brands will give you like half the size of the sink, and I guess it's better than nothing, but I'd rather have full coverage given the opportunity than only partial myself. That's just I guess my way of looking at it. And once again, Brinkely is listening. They have heard so many people so many times say it should have dishwasher prep. Well, they have started integrating that into more and more of their models. You might notice there's an electrical junction box in the upper right corner of that cabinet, way in the back right there. So it's there if you need it, it's gone if you don't. But if you want to install a little RV dishwasher, they have actually created a space for it. And look at this. Look at, like, they could have just left a shelf over here and called it a desk, and I wouldn't have been mad at it. But the fact that they even gave it this handy little, like, office organizer drawer, I love that. That is actually so useful. Having a place to be able to put, you know, your pens and your notepads and stuff when you're not using them out of the way. It's crazy how many just little things, daily use features and functions they have integrated here. And I don't know what benefit there necessarily is to looking inside of a refrigerator like this, but I know every single time I don't record the inside of a refrigerator like this, somebody leaves me a note that says, "Hey, dummy, you didn't record the inside of the refrigerator," which, by the way, is an excellent way to start a YouTube comment to get my attention and to make me want to read it. So here's also a funny story. When I opened this up, I glanced at the stuff in that bag and I was like, ooh, those look like maybe barbecue pork rinds. And I was about to grab them and I realized they're dog treats. I almost ate a bag of dog treats and I'd have been like, these are delicious. I don't know. But more to the point, I love the fact that they made the lower storage come to you where it's easier to access. And this is the easiest place to get to show you the dovetailed plywood drawer construction that they have in this. So the drawers are not just stapled together and the tops are all nicely finished off so they're not an organic splinter factory. But again, if you look just a little bit deeper and you see my ugly reflection in the refrigerator over here, you see they put some power outlets back there. So if you want to make this a handy little appliance, maybe toaster station, you could. And then I spotted something I didn't even think about. You know, these refrigerators, they have a little twist lock that you actually screw into the top here to keep the doors from flying open in transit. And that's what this little knobby job is over here. And I went to grab it and it wasn't coming because they installed a magnet here to give you a dedicated place to put your travel lock for your refrigerator. There's just so many minuscule, death by thousand paper cut details in these that every time I get in one, I find something new that it's not that, oh man, they've got a magnet holdback for the fridge lock. That's the reason to buy this RV. I'm not saying that. I'm saying it just shocks me how much thought and effort they actually have applied into this. And it makes you realize how many brands don't. And for how many RV manufacturers, it's just a race to the bottom to see who can be the cheapest. But that's kind of the thing. Brinkleys are not the least expensive. They're not the lightest weight. But if you talk to people who have actually RV'd a lot, what they will often say about a Brinkley RV is this already has so many of the upgrades and features that I was going to put in mine after the fact, but it's already there from the factory. By the way, I don't know if I gave you a look at this, but your control panel is over here. Again, everything nicely hidden away. Like you don't see mechanical fasteners through the RV. You don't see gimp molding where the walls meet the roof. they also have the Max Air vent cover here, or controls, and your lighting is actually dimmable as well. And then just little things like this. The bedroom door has a magnet hole back, and they're not the only ones to do that. Montana's been doing that since before Brinkley was founded, but it's nice the fact that they're actually doing it when so many brands do not. I appreciate little things like that. Working our way up here into the bathroom, I'm going to give you kind of a one of these, just like we did in the living room, a slow sweeping look around it so you can get an understanding for the full lay of the land. Then we're going to start diving into more specific information. One of the really cool things about your Model Z family, even this one of their smallest fifth wheels to date, is the fact that they have an extra tall upper deck. And I'll demonstrate that in a minute. You may notice it is a true locks in place for transit pocket door for the bathroom as well. Now, one of the things here, if you notice that porcelain foot floor stool has plenty of space around it, like you can see how I have plenty of elbow room. I have plenty of leg room as well. So if you're a bigger, taller goofball like me, you got a great spot for it. Well, something that's a problem for a lot of RV manufacturers is, where do you put the toilet paper roller? Some people are going to like it right back here. But if you don't, it actually just kind of magnet locks in place, and you can move that sucker around wherever you want to. And you can basically have one in the chamber and 2 or 3 on the clip down here. So if you're going to be setting up shop for a long time, you got the perfect place to do it. 1, 2, 3 J hooks to give you a place to keep some towels drying off. And up top here, once again, they only use the XL vent fan. Just like you saw in the kitchen, that's what you're going to find here in the bathroom. They flirted with the idea of not doing that, but your feedback said, no, we would upgrade the fan anyway, just do it from the factory. And again, that's the idea behind a Brinkly. They do the stuff from the factory that you would want done aftermarket. Now, take a look at the left side of the screen. See the headroom that I have up here standing in the shower. This has a 79.5-inch upper deck clearance. To help you translate, that's 6 foot 7.5 tall. There are people all the time like, hey, Josh, I'm 6'5". What kind of fifth wheel can I get? And most fifth wheels, you don't fit into the upper deck. There's very few brands offering this height or anything larger. But notice how they don't have an actual skylight. They include lighting above the shower so you can see whether it's morning, noon, or night. But they give you the pretend skylight so that it meets your visual expectations, but also doesn't provide a gigantic hole in the roof, which is potentially a nasty leak point. Now, this is a one-piece molded shower, and it is prepped for a seat. If you want to learn more about that, check out my full factory video tour where I actually walked down the production line to take a look at all this stuff. And over here, couple interesting things. Let's start with the cabinet that's right in the middle of the screen right there, and look over on the left-hand side, and you can see how that actually, it's a very solid linen cabinet. I kind of threw my phone and a soap dispenser in there to give you a size reference point, but that is technically shared with the bedroom. And if you want to remove those shelves to make a bedroom hanging storage space, you can. Now, some people look at this, they'll go, yeah, but if I use that for towels, I don't have a medicine cabinet. You do. Once again, take a look at the left side of the screen, and you can see how the mirror actually has a medicine cabinet built into the hollow space of the wall. And that pushes the mirror further back, so it's not right in your face when you're trying to wash your face. Even up here in the bathroom, they have maintained the solid surface countertops all the way through. There are some power outlets on the right-hand side around the corner. I'm just not at the proper angle to display those. What I want to show you, though, is actually what's under that also stainless sink and the solid surface counters. You have wastebasket space below the sink right here in the bathroom, which is really, really handy. And again, just like the kitchen, they build a little bit of a toe kick right there so you can belly right up to the bar. And then you've got a 1, 2, 3 drawers to the floors situation going on over here. So when you've got your blow dryers or your beard trimmers or anything like that, you've got plenty of space for all that. This little bathroom really does a lot of big, heavy lifting effectively. Now, did you also notice that with the day-night shade system that they're using integrated into what I call the European square flow style windows, they do not need the big boxy valances and lambrequins. They just frame out the windows nicely, cleanly, and give it a great look. Now, this north-south bedroom, this might be a deal breaker for some folks. Like, you might have been loving it up till now, but I'm going to just shoot you straight and tell you what it is, and I'm not going to try to drag you along. This is a 60 by 80 True Queen bed, which is excellent. That is all of this is. They are not currently, at the time of this publishing, offering any bed swaptions. They're not currently offering anything like an Olympic Queen, like a King, or anything like that. Instead, what they have is, max storage space, good side stands, and more room to walk around the bed. And I mean max storage. They were very creative with this. Now, the overhead cabinet directly above the bed, they didn't make it stick out too far so you don't end up giving yourself a concussion protocol every time you sit up. But under the headboard of the bed, there's a pocket of space that you can basically never reach, that most manufacturers block off and waste, and you're not even aware that it's there because no one's ever done anything with it before. And they have actually opened that up. Now, it's black felt on black felt, so I don't know how well you're even observing the depth of that space right there. But every little nook and cranny they could possibly use, they found some way to do something with it with not an ounce of space gone to waste. And that logic persists everywhere through here. Like, as you can see, this is obviously very easy lift, but they made dresser space under the bed, but they made it so that you don't have to lift the bed to get to it. The dresser drawers can open to you. There's 2 on each side. There's also a little bonus hideaway pocket. You see the cabinet door open there in the middle. And the middle section is left open kind of as a bit of a dealer's choice sort of thing. If you want to throw some kind of tote storage down there, there's a number of different things that you could potentially do with it. And as they're kind of demonstrating over here, you can leave some more, personal effects under the bed that are still easy to access. Now, as we do pivot around over here, across from the bed, they have monster dresser drawer space. They have quadruple drawers down to the floor over here. I opened the top one all the way just to give you a full reference point on that. We've also got that closet space. I'll get over there in just a second. I'm at kind of a weird angle to do it with the bed up in my face right now. Once again, smart TV, downward dog angled. And remember how I said up here, you have the second air conditioner. This is factory standard, and there's no delete option. Just 2 airs are factory forced, essentially. But this is mini ducted between only the bedroom and the bathroom. But because it is kind of ducted, if you want to close that vent off to sort of die down some of the noise, you can do that, but you will limit the airflow that you get up here in the bedroom as a result. But what you haven't seen so far is hanging closet storage space. That is one of the things that is fairly limited in this floor plan, is that this over here is essentially all of your hanging space. Now, on the right-hand side, you have a dedicated full-time hanging closet. On the left side, you could remove those shelves, and if you look up in the top of that cavity, you can actually see where there would be potential hanging closet rack space in there. But if you do that, you're limiting your bathroom storage a little bit. Here's one of the other interesting things about this floor plan. That whole hanging closet and dresser space is also washer-dryer prepped. So depending on what you want to do, like if you want to install a combo in the lower section, you could delete the dresser drawers and keep your hanging storage. But if you want to install a stackable washer-dryer, you absolutely can, which is really rare under 30 feet. But it will mean you effectively have now 0 hanging closet space. So there's a lot of ways that you can use this RV, and it does a lot of cool features. But the trick is, because it's only 30 foot long, sometimes to do one thing, you have to eliminate the other. And that's just one of those catch-22s that goes with trying to put a lot of big features, 10 pounds of sugar in a 5-pound sack. Eventually, you can still only grab 5 pounds of sugar at a time. So, I don't know. How would you use this? How would you go about it? I think overall it'll work for most people, because actually very few people do install a washer-dryer. But for some folks, it's like, hey, if I can't, I'm just not going to do it. So there's the information. You decide if it works for you or not. I just try to be fair. In the meantime, let's close up the slide and check out the fantastic traveling access on this. And this right here, this is one of the areas where this floor plan may be just a night and day difference for somebody compared to the other 30-foot Brinkley fifth wheel, the 2670. The 2670 has essentially many of the same features in just a slightly different arrangement. But this arrangement allows for full access to the upper deck, which a lot of fifth wheels do not, especially when you're in the under 30-foot range. So without ever touching a slide button, I can get to the bedroom, I can get to the bathroom, the refrigerator, the sink, the stove, the oven, all the critical storage space. Basically, essentially, you block off the desk, and that's about it. But you still have the Dynesk available to you. This RV can 99% function with the slide close, and I give this like a solid A for traveling access myself. It destroys the Cracker Barrel test, and it is totally turtle friendly, dude. And if you watch a lot of my videos, you hear me say this all the time. Every RV's greatest asset is its greatest liability. One of the really cool things about Brinkley's is basically they build them thick with 2 C's like a bowl of oatmeal. This 30-foot RV still weighs close to 11,000 pounds. But the thing is, it's built with bulkier chassis, you know, bulkier frame, bulkier, heavier running gear, and a bunch of other odds and ends that we're going to get into as we go here. And that means that they had to put some pretty hefty, you know, bones on this thing. So it's not fat, it's just big boned is basically what I'm saying. But it still has about 3,000 pounds of cargo carry capacity. The trick is with the, you know, when this thing's bone dry and it has nearly a 1,900 pound hitch weight, I don't personally feel you want to be lugging this sucker around with a half ton. That's just my personal nerdy 2 cents. I think you need a solid 3/4 and up. I think that actually there's a lot of heavy duty gas 3/4 tons that would make a great fit for this. I don't know that you necessarily got to go mega dually diesel to be able to tow this around, and good Lord, it just has such a striking look on the front of it there. Punches you in the face like Jean-Claude Van Damme, although he mostly did kicks, except in Bloodsport. He did a lot of punches. A little movie trivia for you there. So they have approved and adopted the new Helix Pinbox series on all the Model Z fifth wheels. And the idea behind this is that it not only provides you a better, smoother ride in your own vehicle, it transfers up to 50% less stress into the frame of the RV. So your upper deck gooseneck stresses are reduced to an extreme degree. Now down here in the front the front compartment cavity, you've got a couple things. This RV actually has 2 different disconnects, one for storage and one for traveling. Essentially, there's reasons that they do 2 different things right there. The big black box on the walls, your 60 amp MPPT charge controller. Now, the reason I really like that they use an MPPT controller as compared to a PWM, those just sound like random letters to you that I would make up, because that sounds like the sort of weird stuff that I would do. But those are real things. An MPPT controller is, it's at least 10% more efficient. So the sun coming in to the roof gets charged into lightning in the batteries more effectively, more efficiently, faster. You get more of it. Now, up on the roof, I'll give you a peek at that in a little bit. There's a, I think, 370 watt solar panel, if I'm not mistaken, up there. If I'm incorrect, we'll put a note on the screen to correct me. There is definitely room to put a second one of those, essentially right next to it. If you want to go solar crazy beyond that, they leave you some capabilities, and we'll touch on that in a little bit. I always like to share the ups and the downs, the good with the bad. One of the only really hitches in this one's giddy up is that it is a 2-headed sewer monster, because there's really no way of getting around it. Like right up front here, you've got your bathroom black and gray outlets, washer and dryer, if you install one of those, would actually drain into those holding tanks, by the way. And when you read the tank capacities on this, Mr. Garrett, Mr. Cousin Garrett, the RV Nerd video editor, if you could flash the holding tank capacities across the bottom of the screen for us here, that would be great. But you might notice the gray water capacity looks absolutely out of control compared to everything else. That's because this RV, if I'm not mistaken, actually has like 3 gray tanks, but the front 2 are cross-plumbed together, so you get a true front big gray capacity with a bonus tank in the back just for the kitchen, essentially. So a lot of gray water. And this floor plan, one of the other things that I like about it is it organically places the water heater exhaust for that on-demand water heater and your furnace over here on the poop side of the camper, where you're not putting hot surface touch points right on the camp side of your RV. Because after I've had a couple barley pops, and it only takes 2 to leave me 2 sheets to the wind, you know, I do stupid stuff like lean back into a water heater exhaust, and then it burns me, and I touch it, I go, ow, what was that? And then I burn myself again. Well, this prevents me from doing that. Now, one of the cool things, even though you do have a rear gray water outlet, you still have electronic dump gate valves for all of those tanks. So the one on the left and the one in the middle, those are for a bathroom and washer dryer black and gray. The one in the back is for the kitchen gray. So you don't have to go crawling around on your hands and knees pulling gate valves or anything like that. Easy reach auto leveling controls right here. And one of the things that you can't see is one of the best things that they're doing, and that's as it relates to plumbing connections. Suffice to say, they are at minimum using all correct connectors, so they're not using PEX on flex hoses, but they're also using all brass fittings wherever they possibly can, even where they're not required to. Now, off the water pump, it is required code that they do need to use flex lines there, but notice they're not using flex to PEX fittings and connectors. They're actually using things that are purpose-made and matched up appropriately. So that is what you want to see. And if I, pardon me, take a knee here in the pass-through, you can see you've got the upper deck heat plenum running there, but it also does forced air heat duct hot air down here into the pass-through storage cavity. So even this is climate controlled, which is nice. And because this floor plan does not allow for the nerdism number 37 junk in the trunk storage system, basically a compartment off the butt side of this camper, they added a full 8-foot wide belly storage tray, kind of giving you the storage ability of a drop frame design without needing to do a drop frame, which I think is actually kind of cool. Now, under the fiberglass skin, they are running Asdel. And if you, again, really want to learn more about how these are put together, please take some time to watch my Model Z factory video tour. It's long and it's extremely detailed, but if you're going to kind of spend this money and you want to know exactly what you're getting for it, that's going to be one of the best ways that I can possibly convey all that information to you. In a video like this where there's a lot to cover, I can maybe at best give you a couple generalities. Now, one of the other things I really like about this is how they did the awnings differently. There are a few other builders making a very similar floor plan out there right now. The trick is, because of the taper of the roof line, they're not really able to run an awning all the way back over the rear fridge and propane grill hookup spot, which we haven't talked about yet, but we're going to get there. So Brinkley said, no problem. We're going to do it different. We're going to put a normal power awning in the front of this thing and then an armless awning, kind of like a fancy motorhome or a truck camper or something over here in the back. Now, quick little housekeeping note. Again, we are looking at an early generation prototype of this. So if you look at the front awning, you see the really nice, I call it Tron lighting, the solid beam light. If you look under the current armless awning, you see the ... dash Morse code lighting. That's not going to be there. It's going to be the solid beam lighting on both awnings, and it will provide... Basically, you'll have your entire campsite of your RV will have awning coverage and lighting. And that is very, very cool. Also, something they did very differently here that is quite literally cool is instead of forcing you to have a crappy little grill or griddle, because the RV industry, it's not that all outside RV grills and griddles are bad. It's just that the suppliers that supply most of the RV industry, the stuff they make is not amazing. Well, Brinkley said, instead of a crappy cooker, we're going to let you choose to bring one if you want it. And instead, we're going to give you a bigger refrigerator, but it's 12 volt. It's not a 110 fridge with a 12 volt fridge inside. It's 12 volt and 12 volt all the way through, meaning it's even travel functional, despite the fact you can get to the fridge inside. The total fridge capacity on this, as a result, is approaching 20 cubic foot. Basically, it has almost the same fridge capacity as like a Model G luxury fifth wheel toy hauler on a 30-foot couples rig with a desk space inside. This is crazy cool stuff that they're doing here, in my opinion. Your entry door has a little keyless entry door pad, so if you go hiking, biking, or whatever, you're going bishing for the day, you don't have to worry about dropping your keys. If you're a clumsy oaf like me, you can just 8675309, and Jenny's going to let you, in, because I saw her name and number on a wall. Now, these steps right here, one of the really cool things about them is they can flip up. So, like, if you're like, I don't want to flip dirt into my RV with these stable steps. Well, you don't have to, because these things, if I didn't have weakling chicken arms, I could have done that in one shot. But hey, there we go. You can flip those suckers up and brush them off. Now, down here, we've got the Cooper H-rated radials. Factory tire pressure monitoring on these as well. These are probably the strongest sneakers I've seen on a kid this size. That is some pretty good news kind of stuff right there. And as we back up, another really exceptional quality. Remember, hydraulic rack and pinion slide for the living room and 4-point hydraulic auto leveling. I don't know that they're the only ones to do it, but I don't know of anyone else personally making a 30-foot fifth wheel with hydraulic auto leveling. That's kind of crazy. But notice when I get down here, you see not only the propane quick connect, but you do have outside speakers. They're just, I'm gonna call them dirt in the skirt speakers down here, like a league of their own. They've got speakers mounted downward so that you hear them, but you don't blow the neighbors away with your freedom rock, brother. Also, again, their steadfast approach to not displaying the machine gun line of mechanical fasteners out here, the way that like their skirt metal, it's also not just screwed on, but riveted in place, which is riveting information depending on who you talk to. Now, a 30-foot fifth wheel like this is kind of prime territory for doing some like doubles towing. And this one absolutely has that capability. Like all of your Model Z fifth wheels, you've got a 3,000-pound towing hitch on the back with safety chain hooks and 4-way wiring harness. So if you want to add a little generator pod, you actually have space in the front compartment to install a generator, and they actually have done the pre-wiring if you want to do that. But, you know, if you want to add bike racks or something back here, you have the ability to do that. And having the 4-way wiring harness on the back is just really handy for 100,000 million different reasons. Working our way up that 300-pound rated square style ladder, one of the things I like about that ladder is that you can use it like a towel rack. So when you're, you know, having a beach day or whatever, you can just, you know, hang the towels outside, dry them off, and then you're good to go. You don't got to hang them in the shower. You also have a backup camera, factory standard on these. However, if I take a little bit of a walk on the wild side and I clamber up that ladder for you, one of the things you see right when you crest over the roof line is that they also give you essentially a roof transition grab bar, which enhances the safety of that so much. As a person who's climbed a lot of ladders, I know I appreciate it for sure. Now you can see the standard dual air conditioner, even in this little rig, standard dual air, the solar panel, the room for the second panel. The front air conditioner is also low profile, so it's not, you know, hanging up there waiting for an overpass bridge to pop it off like a Lego brick. But the sealant system on the roof is different from almost anything else that you're going to find in the towable RV industry. And I stress towable because it's something that you may find in like the automotive and or motorized segment of the industry. It is a much higher grade of sealant that essentially this is one of the lowest maintenance roofs that has ever existed in the world of membrane-based RV roofing. So the idea here is more use, less upkeep, less worry, more fun. Now again, we do have a second sewer outlet in the back, but notice how they give you the stinky slinky sewer tube for both outlets, and you've got undercarriage lighting running on both sides of the RV, not just the campsite, so that you can actually see what you're doing over here on the sewer side of the rig. And it's just those little touch details that make the difference. And I think where that kind of comes from is the folks who designed the Brinkley RVs are it's like the hair club for men, you know. They're not just the president, they're also a client kind of thing. The people that founded this company are the same people that design the RVs, are the same people that use their own RVs. And that is actually one of those litmus test items. When you meet a factory representative at like an RV show, this is a really interesting test to kind of run them through. 3 steps. First of all, ask them if they go RVing, because a lot of them don't. And it doesn't mean they can't do good work, but it does, you know, experience is really worth something. Then ask them if they camp in the RV that they sell. That's another big test right there. And test number 3 sounds silly, but this is real, guys. Ask them if they poop in their RV. And I know that sounds dumb, but if someone actually does all 3 of those things, that is a real RVer with real experience who knows how to do it better. And I think that's exactly what you're seeing right here. So I've obviously yammered on for a long time now. Please, if you haven't, leave me some comments or just even click the like button on the video if you appreciate the efforts today. What I will also do is, of course, as I usually do, leave you a bunch of links in the video description. First of all, whether you're curious or whether you're serious, you want to double check what like MSRP and availability comes in on one of these, we'll have that linked to our website where that will be right there and available. Now, quick note, We don't sell for MSRP, and we don't do hidden dealer fees. But in the case of this brand, publishing MSRP is the best that we can do for you. Our team can obviously get you a discounted sale figure. But as can any dealer, by the way. I'm not trying to like poison waters here. But also, I'll leave you some links to some other Model Zs that are out there, including my Model Z factory tour, if you really want to learn how these are put together under the skin. But if you want to see the other 30-footer, I'll leave a note there. If you want to get something slightly larger, maybe you want opposing slides, that would be the 2900, and then it just keeps going up from there. So when you're ready, we're ready. And until next time, take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.